How pleased are you?
Well, I wouldn't say pleased would be the word. It's just that I think that we've worked hard to get to this point, and all of you in this room. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I also want to thank the 380 representatives of schools that showed up, 83, 85 that showed up here today, which is probably one of the largest attendance in my tenure as your executive director, including our annual convention. So that was very impressive. And then to garner the vote that we did at almost 67, 68%, not only did we get the simple majority to pass what we needed to today, but we also got the 2/3 vote to do that as well. So the membership came in force, the membership spoken, and we will continue to move forward with what we have in place.
You feel like this answers the legal questions? I mean, clearly that's what they wanted to have done here today. Seems like you got it answered in definitive fashion.
We did, and counsel's off screen here. If you want to ask him specific about that, he could answer that. But yes, that temporary is still in place. But I think at this point, council will work with and submit paperwork for with the other council to see if they would, to leave that particular order. And I'll let that legal side take care of that side. I'm not going to practice lawyer without a degree.
Do you see a sea change in attitude in terms of the greater good as compared to the individual good? Did you sense that at all in this room today?
Tough to tell because as of last week, 50% of the principals across the state, high school principals, are 3 years or less of experience. So there's been a major turnover. I was talking to my colleague in fact, I was talking to Mark up on the podium. The good news, I've been here long enough. There's a lot of people in the room I recognize and I know by name. And on the other hand, there's a lot of people I don't know who the heck they are, because there's a lot of new principals coming in, new athletic directors, coaches that used to be ADs that are now, or used to be coaches, now athletic directors. So it's a turnover, but when you've been around as long as we have, you've all seen a lot of turnover, and I think it's for a positive in that regard. But today I was very pleased with the attendance today, and obviously the outcome is something we'll work with.
January reunification vote, are you optimistic about that, or where would you say?
Reunification meaning?
As far as, bringing all the schools back together.
I'm not. That's not a topic that I'm going to have. If the membership wants to have that conversation, then so be it. But there was not any proposals put together to send to us that had anything to do with bringing everybody back together in that regards, which would mean we would stay kind of where we are, if we will, for at least two more years.
The playoff system that took place this past year, by all accounts, it was a better playoff system and produced better games. Would you concur with that?
I would. Media's told us that. Coaches have told us that. Families, you name it, they have told us. I have not had any real negative comments about the process. Does something need to be tweaked here and there? Absolutely. It's like anything. But you've heard me say this before. When we put this together, we did it on a whiteboard. Something needs to be changed. You can erase it and put what you need to in there. You're right, with the permanent marker, it ruins that board. And we're not going to do that. So we're going to continue to modify if we need to. We've listened. That's why we are where we are today. We've listened. And I think it was a good resolve, and we're ready to go.
Finally, dialogue. How important is it to have continuous dialogue, education, getting along, and trying to move this process forward one way or the other?
We're an education-based association. As long as I'm your executive director, that will always be forefront for me. First of all, we're here to build young men and young women because it's a lot easier to build them than to mend them. And I think that high school athletics in Louisiana does that. We build young people. We don't need to put them into society and have to mend them later. So I'm proud of what this association does and what the membership does for the students across our state.
Okay, so there will not be a vote on Michael.